how do you get data from your WooCommerce store into Google Analytics version 4 so that you can analyze your purchases and the purchase flow? Hi, my name's Duncan. I am the CEO and founder of 65, and we build, care for and host WordPress websites for our clients. And we can do the same for you too. So getting the data from your store into Google Analytics is a great step for an e-commerce store. The reason for that is in Google Analytics 4 that came into being a little while ago, but Universal Analytics stopped working back in June or July, gives you a whole bunch of preset information to be able to see what your monetization looks like, where people are getting to through their purchase journey, and if they're actually dropping out of that pipeline on the way through, what their checkout journey looks like, and so forth. So really good, useful information right out of the box. And it's actually one of the bits of Google Analytics version 4 that I think is kind of easy to use. However, you need to be able to get it set up. So I'm going to show you how we do that in WordPress and then be able to visualize that data. So first step is you've got to have a GA4 account and one set up. I've got one here. This is for one of our client websites called Ultimate Toys. And as you can see at the moment, there is no information in this e-commerce journey. So bits we're going to need. The first thing is we're going to need to have installed Google Analytics into the website so that it's working in the first place. Now we do this through a tool called Google Tag Manager, which is at tagmanager.google.com, and you can see we've got a GA4 configuration here already. The way that you set this up if you're doing this from scratch is you come into Google Tag Manager, you say new tag, give me a tag configuration, Google Analytics, and whoops, sorry, bad, clicking too fast, and you're going to go Google Tag, and then you're going to grab your tag ID from Google Analytics, paste that in here, and then set triggering to all pages. Okay. Now, if you've got consent and stuff going on, this will be slightly different. That's the subject for a different video, but by the by. And then call it Google Analytics v4 config. You don't need to put v4, force of habit for me, because we've been running both for so long. And what you'll end up with is one of these. So here's the one that we've already got working. We've pasted our tag ID in there, and we've put a configuration parameter in. Again, not worried about that at the moment. And then we're firing this on DOM ready. So that essentially means that the website is ready to accept inputs, and it is interactive, and this is going to run when the DOM, the document object model, is ready. So at this point in time, we have Google Analytics running on the site. We have Google Analytics installed into Tag Manager. Then we need to get Tag Manager installed onto the website. We do that using a tool called GTM4WP. You can grab that in the plugins. Let me just show you what that looks like again, because this one's already installed. Okay, so when you come to install this, this is the one you're looking for, GTM4WP by Thomas Geiger. Sorry, Thomas, if I've said that incorrectly. You can also come to GTM4WP, click on the download button to go and grab that and install it. Now, once you've installed it, you will need your Tag Manager ID. So you come over into Tag Manager, and you can find that in this bit of script here. There it is over there. So you grab that Tag Manager tag and you pop that in there, turn your container code on, and just leave the container code usually to off, so it will inject it for you normally, and then you can click on Save Changes. If it doesn't work initially, then move it to footer or so forth. The next step in this functionality is if you have WooCommerce installed, which is the whole point of this particular video, come into Integration and WooCommerce, and it will tell you if WooCommerce is active, and then you've just got to tick this one box, Track eCommerce. Okay, simple as that. Scroll to the bottom, click on Save. You can do some other stuff in here. You'll see there's other permissions and other features. The one that we quite often do is use SKU instead of ID. SKU is obviously the human readable product ID, as opposed to ID, which would be the WordPress ID for it, which doesn't actually mean anything to anybody. So we very often click this one for SKU. Okay, so do that, save changes. And now at this point, we'll have analytics sending data about when people are on pages as they're navigating around the site. And the second thing we'll have is when an e-commerce activity happens, it'll be pushing it into Tag Manager here, and then it will be pushing it from Tag Manager into Analytics. Okay, but we're not quite done. You now need to allow the e-commerce data that's getting sent into Tag Manager to go from Tag Manager to Analytics. It's not the same as just what page are you on, how long have you been there, and what have you visited. It's a whole bunch of other metadata or other information about that e-commerce journey that's going on. Now, the good thing here is that Thomas over at Google Tag Manager for WP has made this process really easy, and this is how we do it. So pop onto this page. If you don't know how to find it, or you can't see the link that's below this video, come in here and come into WooCommerce related Google Analytics 4. Okay, that's the page that we're on here. And you can go through and read all this, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to show you just how we go about doing this. So as he says, you've got your GTM container, you've got everything in place, and you've made it work. What is interesting here is they've just turned over, instead of having the tag ID directly there, they've changed it so that it's a variable. So let's go do that first. So what he's saying is, instead of using your tag ID here, what we're going to do is set a variable. Let me just copy that. There we go. Let's go into variables, and we will create a new variable, and it's going to be a constant because this is something that never changes. Okay, and then we're going to just call this GAID. Let me just make sure. Oh, sorry, he's got GA4 ID. So let's put GA4 ID there. And this name here is how we're going to reference it over in the tag. So let's come back to our tag and open this. And then instead of it being this, what we'll do is type the two brackets and we'll use GA4 ID instead. Okay, so we'll click on save. Awesome. So now that bit's done. The next thing we'll do is we'll grab this GA4 container template. Okay, so I'm going to write, actually, and I'm just going to click on it to start with. And what you'll see is it's a whole bunch of JSON. That's because it's a configuration that Thomas has put together and then made available for all the users. And it does a whole bunch of stuff. It defines variables, it defines actions and triggers, and so on and so forth. So now what we're going to do, and obviously this changes periodically, last time was in January. So now what we're going to do is follow the instructions here. We're going to go to admin container and import container. So let's go over to admin. And we're going to click on container. So the container is this column here, and import container. And then I'm going to browse for this file and import it. Okay, there it is. And I want to import it into the existing workspace. So I'm going to select that workspace, and I want to merge it with whatever we've got going on, right? So I'm just going to say to it, just overwrite what's going on. It's worth you having a look in here to see if anything's going to be modified or deleted. Nothing is, it's all just new. So I'm going to click on confirm. There we go. And as you can see, it's created all of these new things, and you'll see the timing on which it was created. So a few minutes ago for all of these, right? A few seconds ago, a few minutes ago. Now, the last thing that we need to do here, just to make sure that everything is correct, is that when we come into, let's go back to tags. When we come into our existing config tag, we want to make sure that, under e-commerce events here, we want to make sure that this says the Google tag is found in this container. That's really important, because if this doesn't come up with a tick, then it means we're not actually going to have any data come through correctly. Okay. So now we've done all of that, you can hit on preview, and you can open up Ultimate Toys or whatever your website is, and you'll now be able to browse around your products like so. And if I was to then add to cart, I will not see this information immediately back on this screen, but I will see it shortly. So if you have a look at the Tag Assistant tab, so that's the middle one. So the first one that you had was where you clicked on Preview. Second one is your Tag Assistant, and then the third one's your actual website. If you click on this Tag Assistant one, just go to Summary, you'll start to see that this second tag is firing as well. So the first one is our configuration. That's showing us that the page, regardless of what's going on, is being logged. And then the second one is that we've got an e-commerce event that's being fired and it's pushing through some data. So view item list, add to cart, view item, etc. This is all you need to know at this point to make sure this is working. And the reason for that is that the data doesn't show up in analytics for possibly 24 hours, okay? So just check this in the Tag Assistant and then we can move on. Okay, so now we've confirmed this is working in the Tag Assistant. The last thing we need to do is submit this and actually push it live so it's ready to go for the public. So I'm going to click on Submit. It's going to give me a summary down here of everything that we've done. And I'm going to put in just something simple. You can add some more detail in here if you wish, and I'm going to click on Publish to get it out there into the world. Okay, so now I've got that working. I'm going to come over to real time, and I'm just going to see what's coming up in real time. So it's going to show that there is someone on the site, and we've got some pages and titles that are happening, and down over here we've got view item list. We've got some events that are occurring as well. So that's great. We're starting to see that engagement is occurring, and in about 24 hours we should start to see some information coming through in here. Now obviously things to do with monetization and revenue are going to rely on someone going through the checkout and actually paying for a product. And the other thing is, if you don't see anything, just come back, have a look at this document and review it, make sure everything is doing what it's supposed to do. And as Thomas says here, you are all done. So thanks very much for watching. If you found this useful, please like and subscribe below. And if you'd like some help with your e-commerce store, feel free to reach out. We would love to see how we can help grow the number of sales that you have. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.